Bobby?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank you all for being here. This is obviously a great honor for myself. I'd like to thank Mr. Bob Young, Scott Mitchell, Matt Affanack, Doug Rye, and the whole Forge FC family for giving me this opportunity. And we look forward to getting on the field and getting some real work done here at Tim Hortons Field with the team.
Questions, guys?
Sure. Gary, Bobby, coming from Sigma, of course, and the foundations you laid there. All these players that are out here today, all 200 of them as well, trying to make that step up. Yourself, you have to do the same now that it's at a professional level. Is there one or two things right off the bat that you've planned for yourself to take this team forward?
Well, definitely. This has been in the works for a while, so obviously the planning and preparation from my end on a personal level has occurred. Over time, I have a lot of great background with some great technical minds in different places in the world that I've also leaned on for my education in the game, and along with my mentality and philosophy in the game, that's what I'll look to take forward with the team on the field.
Perfect. Congrats.
Thank you.
Mr. Young, why was Bobby here the right choice for you?
Oh dear. Yeah. How much time do you guys have? So we're launching a whole new league in Canada, and we're doing it properly, and this league is going to be around for the next 100 years. So finding the right people to bring in at this stage is just so critical to the success of this venture. And what is critical is that we harness the soccer community from coast to coast, which means we have to find people like Bobby who know this soccer community, who have been responsible for building the Canadian soccer community, and can take what they know is working and scale it into something much, much bigger than Canada has ever seen before. Bobby is just every now and again, the expression is it's better to be lucky than to be good. We got really lucky.
Bobby, how would you grade the state of Canada soccer right now, and what do you think this league's going to do to help that?
If I look at Canadian soccer right now, I think we're on a good road forward. We're making a lot of progress, and we see that through the players that are developing and the players that have moved on to some of the prominent leagues. And we've seen that in the last year with different transfers of players like Cyle Larin, Alphonso Davies, Jonathan David, another young player who now is in Belgium. We're seeing a lot of strides from that aspect, and this is being done without our own league. Our own league will just take this to a whole new trajectory. I believe in it. I've seen it on the ground over the years in working towards this goal. So I think this will just take our national team, take this league and our players to a different level, and really put us on the map in CONCACAF.
Early days, but Bobby, what's your brand of football, and how do you intend to apply that here at Forge?
Yeah, the easiest thing always to say is I like the good things in the game. I like to attack. I like to play high up the field. We like a lot of energy on the field. In the end of the day, we want teams that are going to entertain. They're going to entertain, but they're going to do it under a good structure, a good philosophy, and understanding that 11 guys in modern football attack and 11 guys in modern football defend.
210 names. You're cutting it down to 58 after today. What are kind of some of the stresses involved with that? It's hard to evaluate so many people on one pitch.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy, but at the same time, I think there's some good technical minds on the field with all the coaches that are there from the league today. And we can pick apart simple technical things in the players that you want to see. We know the positions of the players because we have that on the lists. So that's the most important thing. You're looking at a little bit of the technical components of the players, what they can do, and then we'll see them better tomorrow on the full pitch.
Your initial thoughts on the facility here at Tim Hortons Field?
Yeah, I mean, we've got the best facility in the league, so that's going to be fantastic for our players, for our organization, for our whole staff, and everyone. It gives us a larger level of responsibility as a whole organization, but I think as a professional and as a player, this is a place where you're going to want to be able to play, and you're going to want to be able to excel.
I was just wondering how long the process took, Bobby and Bob, for us to be here today. Was it a couple months? Was it since last year? Obviously, there's more than one interview type thing, and I was just wondering how long that stewed and it came about.
Bob, you want to take that one?
We've been
First
talking
meeting?
for at least a couple of years. Certainly Scott Mitchell, who's one of the driving forces behind the whole league, was out talking to the smartest people he could find in Canadian soccer. Hard to do better than Bobby and Costa at Sigma. So we've been talking to them for a while. So you'd actually have to corner Scott. Well, Bobby, put you on the spot. When would Scott have first broached the idea?
Our first discussion was 4 years ago. So with the inception of the idea of the league, and really starting with getting some ideas on how this can look going forward in the general aspect of Canadian Premier League, and then more specifically into the area of Forge FC and the team here in Hamilton. So it's been a long process, but I think it's been a great process, and a great process all the way around for this league. So not only for Forge FC here in Hamilton, but for what's been structured for the whole league around the country.
With the way that memberships are trending, this is probably the biggest team in the CPL. Does it add pressure?
No, I think it's great pressure. It's what we want. We want to drive that in the stands. We want sellouts every game, because I think that's what gives us the motivation more as a staff and as our players to do more and provide more for our community and for our club.
Further to what Kyle was saying there, I mean, membership has been extraordinary in terms of what you guys have been able to accomplish with your Founders Club. Has it surprised you at all to see the reaction from the city of Hamilton?
It's thrilled us. We had no idea what to expect, so you can't be surprised if you don't know what to expect. But we are certainly thrilled with the embrace of the team, the concept, but more of the sport across this country, particularly here, of course, here in Hamilton. Launching a sports league is probably entrepreneurial, because that's what I do. I start businesses in my wife's sewing closet, and the one piece of advice we got in talking about this project is, whatever you do, don't start a sports league. Arguably one of the single most difficult things to do successfully, because you think about it, the CFL's been around for 100 years. If any given team has a bad season, the fans will stick with the team because they remember the championship seasons from last year or a few years ago. When you launch a new league, there is none of that history. If your team has a poor season, it's always been bad. Like, it was never good. So getting this right is what's so essential. And as Bobby and Scott's conversations over 4 years give you a sense of the amount of work that's gone into this exercise over the last 4 years to ensure its success. Working with the guys in Ottawa at the CSA, working with the CONCACAF teams, we're just really excited. And what we're thrilled to see coming back to Hamilton is the fact that the reason all of us on the other side, having these conversations are excited about it, is our hypothesis was that Canada is ready for this. And what we're seeing in the sign-ups here and in Winnipeg and across the country is the country is as excited as we thought they were going to be.
As the former coach of Sigma FC, just your thoughts on the players and what their reaction was to the CPL announcement, and knowing that what could be in the future for them.
Yeah, I think it's exciting for them as well, because they're part of what I've been able to do, and I've been part of what they've been able to do and the successes that they've had, and it's obviously a great proposition for them too. There's a lot of good players coming through that pipeline that will benefit greatly from the Canadian Premier League, where before we always had to look somewhere abroad, somewhere else, outside of our boundaries, outside of our borders, to find somewhere to play. So I think it's just exciting all around for them as well.